everyone, I'm Bree. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to do a quick holiday romance binge check-in. If you are new to my channel, every year around September, I start binging through holiday romances. And I get it, September is very early, you haven't hit Halloween, you haven't hit Thanksgiving. However, in the romance world, September is typically when we start seeing new holiday romances being released. And if you are a fan of holiday romances like me, it's really smart to just start as early as possible because once September hits, every time you look up, there's a new holiday romance being released. Today I just want to chat about what I've read so far and kind of just share what my thoughts are over the progress that I have made so far. So the two books that I do not own physically, I read This Christmas by Sarah Spade, which is book 2 in her Holiday Hunk series, which I really recommend this series. All novellas, so they're really quick, short reads, but they're really fun, very steamy. And the next one that I read was The Boss Who Stole Christmas by Jana Aston, and this is book 1 in her Reindeer Fall series. This one was kind of forgettable. I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. And now we'll get into the physical books. These are not in the order that I read them, guys. Just letting you know that. First up, we have Christmas in Vermont by Anita Hughes. Unfortunately, I was a little bit disappointed by this one. I saw it out of the corner of my eye in a late night stroll to Barnes & Noble, and I pulled it up. I saw these reviews that were all like, it's so cozy, get under a nice warm blanket. So I hauled it, but unfortunately, there were just a few things throughout the book that I was not a fan of. A Wedding in December by Sarah Morgan. This is one of the first ones that I read. I actually think I read this one back in September. And I've been recommending it at any opportunity that presents itself ever since. It's the perfect mixture of women's fiction and it has romances in the story. I do feel like it's more women's fiction, but then there are romances in the story. So it's kind of hard to define, but it is amazing. I've been recommending it like crazy. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend picking it up. Coming Home for Christmas by Rayanne Thane. This is part of her Haven Point series, one of my absolute favorite series ever, and I loved it so much. It's a second chance romance, I guess, between a husband and wife. The wife has been missing for years. Everyone thought that the husband killed her, tracked her down, brought her back home, and it's really them kind of rekindling their relationship. That wasn't the point in the beginning. It was just like, hey, if you don't come back, they're gonna put me in jail, and I've been raising our kids. But it's really nice to see them very gradually work on their relationship, and I also really love how Rayanne Thane handled the kids in this story. The daughter is really standoffish, like, you have really ruined things for us here, but her son, who is actually a really big part of why she disappeared in the first place, he doesn't have the ties to her that his sister did, so he's more open to her being back. It is wonderful. I highly recommend it. I don't feel like you have to have read the previous books in the series before picking this one up, but I really enjoyed it. Next, we have A Cold Water Christmas by Dolores Fosin. I was enjoying this one. It definitely felt like a strong 4 or 5 star read. About the first, I say like 150, 200 pages. And then there were just some things that the way that it ended, there were some things towards the ending that I just was not a fan of. I'm definitely learning a lot about myself while reading these holiday romances as far as like what added tropes work for me and what don't. Yeah. I think I ended up rating this one 3 out of 5 stars, maybe 4. Was loving it in the beginning, had some stuff at the end that I was not really a fan of. Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. This is a collection of 3 short stories by each author. Penguin Teen sent me a copy in preparation of the Netflix adaptation, and unfortunately, this is one of those instances where I actually preferred the film over the book. The Giving Heart by Toni Blake. This is one of my most recent reads. Literally, it is my most recent read. I really enjoyed it. It just, again, like I stated previously, there was just one added trope or one added storyline thrown into the end of the book that I was just not a fan of. I was just, why are we doing this? And I have seen that a few times in this stack of holiday romances. Just a personal preference thing. It's just one kind of way that authors choose to end the story that I'm just not always a fan of. It Started with Christmas by Jenny Hale. I really wanted to love this and I ended up not really loving it. Christmas Wishes and Mistletoe Kisses by Jenny Hale. I really loved this one, so I was really excited about it because Hallmark was doing their adaptation of it. Unlike Let It Snow, this is one of the times where the book was so much better than the movie. I saw what they were trying to do. They were trying to put their own spin on it, but it was just one of those situations where I was like, you should have just left it. You should have just left the book alone. You should have stuck to the script of the book, because the way that they changed it, it just felt like it changed the tone of the movie so much, and it just felt really unnecessary. The Christmas Shop by Nancy Nagel. If you are a fan of the movie You've Got Mail starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, you should absolutely read this one. Instead of being bookshop owners, however, the heroine and the hero in this book are rival Christmas shop owners. The Corner of Holly and Ivy by Debbie Mason. I was not really a fan of this one in the beginning. I don't want to say I wasn't a fan. It just took me a while to kind of get into. In the end, I was really surprised. I really ended up enjoying this one. 12 Days of Christmas by Debbie Macomber. This was a reread for me, and it was a 5-star read both times that I've read it. Christmas in Winter Valley by Jodie Thomas. I really enjoyed this one. And lastly, we have Cowboy Christmas Homecoming by June Favor. I really enjoyed this one. It follows Zach and Stephanie, and Zach is a war veteran who has just recently got out of the military and is back home. And I just feel like the author did a really wonderful job of capturing what it's like to be a military member who's now back in civilian life and trying to get like reacclimated to that life. She did a wonderful job of that, and I really enjoyed the romance as well. So those are all the holiday romances that I've read so far, and it's been fun. I haven't gotten burnt out yet, and I still have a few holiday romances that I need to get to. Some of them I'm really surprised that I haven't read. Like I have 2 Maisie Yates romances that I'm like, I can't believe I haven't read my Maisie Yates romances yet. I will get to them. It's just really interesting when you have books that are all, I don't want to say the same theme, but I guess kind of the same theme. They're all holiday romances, but they're all different authors. So seeing how they're all creating different stories centered around the same time period has just been really interesting. And I think that helps with not getting burnt out because you are reading different authors. But I am definitely learning what works for me and what doesn't work for me. So for instance, I have read in this stack, I think two romances where in the book, the entire time, basically, the hero has been engaged. One of them did it really well. The other 2, not so much. Hero's engaged over halfway through the book, and then it just feels like super rushed at the end when he's no longer engaged to this other person, and now he's trying to work on things with the heroine. It just feels like it's super rushed, and I'm just realizing that's like not a storyline that I'm really interested in. If you're gonna have that, maybe cut the engagement off earlier in the book. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm realizing that I'm not a fan of it. And I'm also just, there's been like 1 for sure, maybe 2, can't remember, for sure 1 book in the stack where at the end there is a proposal, and I don't know why. Again, this is a personal thing. It may work for some people, but I'm just not really a fan of that. I get it if it's a second chance romance. Obviously there's already chemistry. If it's like you've only known each other 377 pages, then that really bothers me. Like I don't mind insta love. Sometimes insta love works really well for me, but the proposal thing, I kind of look at that like surprise pregnancy, which I know is not everybody's thing either. It just rubs me the wrong way. Like, ugh, there was 1 book, I was loving it, and then that happened at the ending, and I was just like, dang it, now the whole book is ruined for me. I just wanted to check in with you guys and let you know how it's going, what I have read. So if you're reading any holiday romances, let me know what's been your favorite so far, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.
Makes no difference if it's sweet or hot.